Right now, this week, there's a tiny window closing that most peach growers completely miss, and if you let it slip by, you'll be stuck waiting an entire year to multiply your best trees, because July is the one month where the bark on your peach, plum, cherry, and apricot trees is loose enough to bud graft, and almost nobody talks about it until it's already too late. If you want serious, practical peach growing tips every single week, the kind that actually work in real orchards and real backyards, not just textbook theory, then make sure you subscribe right now, because I'm covering exactly this kind of timing-sensitive, high-value technique constantly, and you don't want to miss the next window either. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to bud graft peach, plum, cherry, and apricot trees using a technique completely different from the dormant grafting most people know. One that only works during this narrow summer window when the bark is actively slipping. You're going to learn why this method exists, why commercial nurseries rely on it almost exclusively for stone fruit, and I'll walk you through the entire three-step process so you can go out into your own yard this week and actually do it yourself. By the end of this video, you'll understand summer budding well enough to multiply any productive tree you own without waiting for next winter. Let's start with the reality of the situation, because this is genuinely one of the most misunderstood parts of fruit tree propagation. Most people who get into grafting learn the winter method first, that classic whip and tongue graft using dormant scion wood, and that's a fantastic technique, don't get me wrong. But here's the mistake almost everyone makes. They think that's the only window of opportunity in the entire year, so if they miss it, they just wait until next winter. That's simply not true, and honestly, it costs growers an entire growing season of multiplication they didn't need to lose. The truth is, stone fruit trees, meaning peach, plum, cherry, and apricot, have a second, completely different propagation window that opens up in mid to late summer, specifically because of how the tree's growth cycle works during this time of year. If you miss this window too, now you're waiting until next winter's dormant season, and that's an entire year gone for nothing, when you could have had a new tree already established and growing. Another mistake I see constantly is growers trying to use the wrong technique during the wrong season. Some people try to attempt a whip and tongue graft in the middle of summer using fresh green wood, and it almost never works, because that technique depends on dormant tissue and specific moisture conditions that just don't exist in the summer heat. Others try to do proper bud grafting in the dead of winter, and that fails too because bud grafting depends entirely on the bark being loose and slipping, which simply doesn't happen when the tree is fully dormant. The real issue here isn't that people don't know how to graft, it's that they don't understand that different seasons call for entirely different techniques, and using the wrong one at the wrong time is basically guaranteed to waste your scion wood and your time. So let's actually break down the science here, because once you understand why this July window exists, the whole thing clicks into place and you'll never forget it. During the height of summer growth, the cambium layer, that thin, living green tissue just beneath the bark that I've talked about before, becomes extremely active and juicy. This is the layer responsible for producing new bark and new wood, and during peak summer growth, it swells with moisture and cellular activity to the point where the bark actually separates easily from the wood underneath it, almost like peeling the skin off a ripe piece of fruit. Growers call this slipping bark, and it's an incredibly specific, short-lived condition. You can literally test for it by nicking the bark and trying to lift a corner, and if it peels away cleanly from the wood in a smooth sheet, you're in the window. If it tears, cracks, or resists, the bark isn't slipping yet, or the window has already closed. This slipping bark condition is exactly what allows you to slide a single bud with just a thin sliver of bark attached underneath the bark of your rootstock tree. And because both surfaces are so active and moist at this time, the living tissues fuse together remarkably fast, often within just 2 to 3 weeks. This is fundamentally different from winter grafting, where you're joining two dormant, dry pieces of wood and waiting for the tree to wake up in spring before any real healing begins. In summer budding, the tree is already awake, already pumping resources, and that speeds everything up dramatically. Here's something that surprises a lot of people once they understand this. Commercial nurseries almost universally prefer bud grafting over whip and tongue grafting for propagating peach, plum, cherry, and apricot trees at scale. And it's not because it's flashier, it's because it's dramatically more efficient. Think about it this way. A single scion branch used for a winter graft might only give you enough wood for 1 or 2 grafts. But that exact same branch, if you use it for summer budding instead, might contain 6, 8, even 10 individual healthy buds, and each one of those buds can become its own separate bud graft. That means one branch of scion wood can potentially produce 10 times as many new trees using the budding method compared to the traditional whip and tongue method. This is exactly why, if you ever look closely at a young nursery tree, you'll usually see a small, slightly swollen bump low on the trunk, just a few inches above the roots, and that little bump is the healed scar from a bud graft, not a whip and tongue graft at all. Nearly every fruit tree sold commercially started its life from a single bud, not a whole branch. Now let's get into exactly what professional growers do, broken down into 3 clear, doable steps, so you can go try this yourself this week while the window is still open. Step 1 is selecting your bud wood at the right time, and this step is honestly just as important as the technique itself. You want to collect bud wood from the current season's growth, meaning branches that grew out earlier this spring and have now matured and hardened off a bit, not the soft, floppy new growth at the very tips of the branches. A good way to judge this is to look for wood where the leaves have fully expanded and the stem itself feels firm rather than bendy and green. You're looking for healthy, plump, well-developed buds along that stem, ideally from a tree you already know produces excellent fruit. Once you cut your bud wood, and you'll typically want pieces about 8 to 12 inches long with several good buds along the length, you should immediately strip off the leaves. But here's a detail a lot of beginners miss. Leave about 1/4 inch of the leaf stem, called the petiole, attached to each bud. This little stub becomes your handle later on, letting you handle the delicate bud without ever touching the actual cut surface with your fingers, which matters more than you'd think because oils and bacteria from your skin can reduce your success rate. Keep this bud wood wrapped in a damp cloth or paper towel and out of direct sun while you work, because these tissues dry out fast in summer heat, much faster than dormant winter wood does. Step 2 is making your T-cut on the rootstock, and this is where that slipping bark condition becomes so important. Choose a healthy young rootstock tree, ideally about pencil thickness or a bit thicker, and pick a smooth section of bark low on the trunk, usually somewhere between 4 and 8 inches above the soil line, avoiding any areas with branches, scars, or rough bark. Using a sharp grafting or budding knife, make a vertical cut through the bark, about 1 inch to 1.5 inches long, cutting just deep enough to reach the wood underneath without gouging into it. Then, at the top of that vertical cut, make a shorter horizontal cut across it, forming a T-shape. Once both cuts are made, gently use the back or the tip of your knife blade to lift and peel back the 2 flaps of bark along the vertical cut, just slightly, creating a little pocket. If your timing is right and the bark is truly slipping, this should happen easily and smoothly, almost effortlessly, with the bark peeling away in a clean little curl rather than tearing or cracking. Step 3 is inserting the bud and wrapping the union, and this part requires a steady hand but is genuinely simpler than people expect once you've done it once or twice. Take your bud wood and, using a smooth, single slicing motion, cut a shield-shaped sliver from the stem, capturing the bud itself along with a thin strip of bark and just a very sliver of wood underneath it, roughly 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch in length. Holding that bud by the little leaf stem stub you left earlier, slide it downward into the T-shaped pocket you created on the rootstock, tucking it in underneath both flaps of bark so the bud itself sits nestled against the exposed wood surface, with the bark flaps closing gently over the edges. If your shield piece is a little longer than the vertical cut, that's actually fine. You can simply trim the excess off at the top so everything sits flush with the horizontal cut. Once the bud is properly seated, wrap the entire union tightly using grafting tape or a stretchy budding rubber, wrapping above and below the bud itself while leaving the actual bud and its little leaf stem exposed and uncovered. This exposed bud is intentional because unlike a winter whip and tongue graft where you seal the entire scion completely, in summer budding you want that single bud to stay visible so you can monitor it and so it isn't smothered while it's fusing to the rootstock underneath. Now let's walk through what this actually looks like out in the yard, because visualizing this makes an enormous difference compared to just reading about cuts and flaps. Picture yourself standing in front of a young plum rootstock tree in your backyard about the thickness of your finger, healthy, actively growing, with smooth bark low on the trunk. You pick a clean spot about 6 inches up from the soil, free of any nicks or old pruning scars. You make your vertical cut first, and here's a trick that helps beginners a lot. Don't press too hard on your first pass. Use a light, controlled scoring motion, and if needed, go over the same line a second time to gradually deepen it to the wood, rather than trying to cut all the way through in one aggressive stroke, which is how people accidentally gouge into the wood itself and ruin the cut. Once you've got your T-shape cut and you gently pry open those bark flaps, you should be able to see a thin, glistening, slightly moist wood surface underneath, and this is genuinely one of those moments where you'll know instantly if you're in the right window, because that surface should look almost slick, almost wet, not dry or dull. Now take your prepared peach bud, held delicately by its leaf stem, and slide it into place. You'll notice the bud itself has a very slight raised bump right where the growing point is, almost like a tiny closed eye, and that's exactly what you're protecting when you wrap around it, rather than over it. Wrap firmly, snug enough that the flaps of bark press securely against your bud shield, but not so tight that you're crushing the tissue itself. Within about 10 to 14 days in good summer heat, you'll want to check that little leaf stem stub, and here's your success indicator. If you touch it gently and it falls off easily, almost like a ripe piece of fruit dropping off a stem, that means the bud has successfully fused and is drawing its own nutrients from the rootstock. If that little stem stays firmly attached and green, and especially if it starts to shrivel or turn brown, that's usually a sign the graft didn't take, and you'll want to try again on a different section of that same rootstock while the window is still open. I want you to think about a real scenario here too, because this is exactly the kind of situation where summer budding genuinely outperforms winter grafting. Say you've got a fantastic cherry tree that's producing incredible fruit this July, and you want to propagate more of it, but you don't want to wait until this coming winter to take a dormant cutting. With bud grafting, you can walk out to that cherry tree right now this week, collect bud wood from this season's healthy new growth, and graft those buds onto young rootstocks the very same day. That means instead of waiting 6 or 7 more months for winter dormancy, you could have a bud already fused and healed by August, sitting quietly through the fall and winter, and then in spring, that bud pushes out and becomes an actively growing new branch, essentially giving you a head start of an entire season compared to waiting for the traditional winter method. I want to ask you something specific, and I really do want you to answer this in the comments because it tells me exactly what to focus on in upcoming videos. Have you ever tried bud grafting before, or is this whip and tongue dormant season style grafting only for you so far? Drop the word slip in the comments below, referencing that slipping bark condition we talked about, along with which stone fruit you're planning to try budding onto this summer, whether that's peach, plum, cherry, or apricot, and I'll be reading through as many of these as I can. Now here's something that most growers, even ones who've done bud grafting before, genuinely don't know. And I consider this a real golden tip because it took me years of trial and error to figure it out myself. The exact orientation of your bud shield matters far more than most tutorials ever mention. When you're cutting that shield piece from your bud wood, pay close attention to which direction the bud is naturally pointing, because when you insert it into the T-cut and it eventually pushes out new growth, it will grow in that same original direction it was pointing on the parent branch. A lot of growers insert buds randomly without paying attention to this and end up with awkward inward growing branches later on that they then have to fight against with pruning for years. Instead, before you even make your shield cut, look at your bud wood and identify which side the bud is facing outward from the stem, and orient your cut so that when you slide that shield into the rootstock, the bud is going to face away from the trunk, out into open space, exactly the direction you'll eventually want that branch growing. This single detail alone will save you years of corrective pruning down the road, and it's something almost nobody talks about when they're teaching this technique, probably because it seems like a small thing. But trust me, thinking 2 or 3 years ahead on branch direction, right at the moment of grafting, is exactly what separates a well-shaped tree from a tangled mess. Before we finish up, let's run through the common mistakes that trip people up with bud grafting, because sidestepping these alone puts you way ahead of most beginners attempting this for the first time. The first mistake is timing the window incorrectly, either trying to bud graft too early in the season before the bark is truly slipping, or waiting too long into late summer when the tree's growth has started slowing down and the bark tightens back up again. Always do that little test cut first, checking whether the bark peels away cleanly before committing your good bud wood to the attempt. The second mistake is handling the bud shield too much with bare fingers, touching the actual cut cambium surface directly, which introduces bacteria and oils that reduce your success rate. Always hold it by that little leaf stem stub instead. The third mistake is wrapping too loosely, which leaves gaps where the bud can dry out or where rain and moisture can get trapped and cause rot, or alternatively, wrapping so tightly that you crush the delicate tissues and suffocate the union entirely. The fourth mistake is collecting bud wood from stressed, sick, or drought-stricken trees, because weak parent wood produces weak buds with a much lower success rate, so always source from your healthiest, most vigorous trees. And the fifth mistake, which I see constantly, is impatience again. People unwrapping their buds too early to check on progress, disturbing the union before it's had proper time to fuse, when really you should just watch that leaf stem indicator from a distance and leave the wrapping completely undisturbed until it's clearly time to either celebrate a successful take or try again elsewhere. Look, this July window is short, and if you're watching this anywhere near the middle of summer, don't sit on this information. Get out there this week and actually try it, because the tree doesn't wait around for your schedule, and neither does that slipping bark condition. Bud grafting is genuinely one of the most efficient, most rewarding skills you can add to your growing toolkit, because a single productive branch can now multiply into far more new trees than you ever thought possible with the traditional winter method, and once that bud takes and pushes out its first flush of growth next spring, you're going to feel an enormous sense of accomplishment knowing you built that tree yourself from a single sliver of bark and bud. If this video gave you something genuinely useful, do me a solid and subscribe to the channel, because I'm putting out real, field-tested growing content like this constantly, and there's a lot more coming that builds directly on everything we just covered. In fact, in the next video, I'm going to show you how to properly care for these bud grafts through the rest of summer and into fall, including exactly when and how to cut back the rootstock above your successful bud next spring to force all that energy into your new variety. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on, because you're going to want to catch that one before next spring rolls around. Get your knife sharp, go check that bark for slipping, and I'll see you in the next video.